NNPC Limited will operate as a commercial, independent, and viable national oil company at par with its peers around the world.
Behold, a new NNPC is born. President Buhari optimistic of Nigeria's strategic role at global energy market.
So we are not suspending this time. We want to end the strike. And we can only end the strike when the issue in contentions are met.
5 months and counting. ASU gives condition for ending strike. Plus 2023 polls showed inmates vote or not.
Will observers and the media be allowed access to the correctional centers on election day? Will INEC officials be granted access to the correctional centers for voter education?
Hello and welcome to NTA Network News, reaching you live from Abuja. I'm Ian Ray John. On the news tonight, Adela Komi-Akere joins me from Lagos, while Asmao Habibu Shagari joins us much later from Sokoto. Many thanks for joining us, and don't forget that you can follow this news broadcast live on our website nta.ng/live and all our social media platforms displayed on the screen for updates. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, Africa's largest oil company, has been unveiled with a mandate to achieve the desired energy security that will support sustainable growth of the nation's critical economic sectors. President Muhammadu Buhari, who performed the ceremony, looks forward to NNPC becoming a dynamic company of choice that will continue to deliver value to its stakeholders and the global energy community. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo brings us details.
It is indeed a new dawn for the nation's petroleum industry as President Muhammadu Buhari launches the rebirth of the NNPC Limited to deliver energy for today, energy for tomorrow. The landmark event in furtherance of the implementation of the Petroleum Industry Act formally positioned the NNPC and the entire oil and gas industry on the path to sustainable growth, profitability and prosperity.
NNPC Limited will operate as a commercial, independent, and viable national oil company at par with its peers around the world to sustainably deliver value to its over 200 million shareholders and the global energy community, while adhering to its fundamental corporate values of integrity, excellence, and sustainability. It will, of course, conduct itself under the best international business practices in transparency, governance, and commercial viability.
Apart from being privileged to lead the creation of the NNPC 44 years ago as the then Petroleum Minister, President Muhammadu Buhari was also responsible for the signing of the PIA, heralding the long-awaited reforms of the oil and gas industry, including the rebirth of the NNPC.
I therefore thank Almighty God for choosing me to consistently play an important role in shaping the destiny of our national oil company from the good to the great. NNPC Limited is mandated to ensure Nigeria's national energy security is guaranteed to support sustainable growth across other sectors of the economy.
Both the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Timothy Silva, and the Group Chief Executive Officer of the NNPC Limited, Mele Kolokiari, thanked President Buhari for his unparalleled leadership, steadfastness, and unalloyed support towards ensuring that Nigeria's oil and gas industry is on a sound footing.
I know that expectations are high with this unveiling of NNPC Limited. I have no doubt that the clear path for the survival and growth of our petroleum industry is now before us.
This indeed is a new day, a new hope and a new opportunity to upscale our relevance in the global energy community as Africa's largest energy company. We have taken a strategic initiative to achieve our mandate of ensuring energy security for our country by rolling out a comprehensive expansion plan to grow our fuel retail presence from 547 to over 1,500 outlets within the next 6 months.
Before the coming into effect of the Petroleum Industry Act, leading to the rebirth of the NNPC, $50 billion worth of investment eluded Nigeria, but not anymore. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
And as a new NNPC Limited has been birthed, signaling a new dawn while chronicling the history and the projected future of the company. Key players in the oil industry say the new company is ready to take a leading role in the oil and gas sector. Lydia Sampson reports.
This music by Barry Art Alade sets the tone for the beginning of NNPC Limited. The company is focused on providing energy for today and energy for tomorrow. Unveiling the NNPC Limited of today is not about forgetting the NNPC of yesterday. The museum of yesterday is all about taking us on a journey to where it all began 45 years ago. It all began as the States Oil Corporation, established on the 1st of April 1977. In addition to its exploration activities, the then corporation was given powers and operating interests in refining, petrochemicals and product transportation, as well as marketing. From its inception to the rebirth, NNPC has footprints across the value chains. Amongst NNPC's several subsidiaries are 2 partly owned subsidiaries, 16 associated companies, autonomous business units, as well as upstream company. NNPC operates joint venture partnership with virtually all international oil companies in Nigeria. This perhaps led to its former slogan, "We touch your lives in many ways." These resonate with key players here who believe the narrative is about changing for the better.
The best of NNPC is yet to come. This is the new best.
It's memorable as much as it is historical. And as you heard Mr. President say, when you talk about destiny, he is a man of destiny.
I'm sure this will turn around things. They will make more investment. They will be able to raise more money and invest heavily in the oil and gas industry.
It's a huge potential that Nigerian can use for prosperity of its own people.
The beginning of creating the enabling environment for NNPC to thrive commercially.
It is about how we move NNPC to occupy the rightful position.
More agility, more, of course, operational excellence.
This is global into, a better economy for the interest of Nigerians. We know small ways. Open the market, open the business.
For the first Group Chief Executive Officer of NNPC Limited, enforcing best international business practices cannot be compromised.
Skills are changed. You bring up new competencies in the people. If we can train them, we have ability to do this.
For now, the expectations are high, with hopes that the new company will continue to unfold as Africa's largest oil company, as well as viable national oil company, delivering dividends to 200 million Nigerian shareholders. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
Many thanks, Lydia. And for more on the new NNPC, let's join the Group Chief Executive Officer of NNPC, Melekiari, via Zoom to tell us more on what the nation has to gain. Many thanks for joining us, sir.
Thank you very much. Very good evening, and we're happy today.
Congratulations. And as we begin, how does the unveiling of the new NNPC translates to energy security for Nigerians?
Yes, it does. First of all, this company is now completely a private company operating on behalf of its 200 million shareholders. That this company is completely accountable to these shareholders. It must return value to them, must serve them, but also guarantee energy security for the country. And definitely there is no better time than today, because today many of the impediments that could easily stop an agency company as we used to be from getting things done quickly in a rapid manner are all gone. Today decision making is easy, system and processes can respond to situation of today. But also we're also focused on making sure that we deliver value to its shareholders. Definitely this company will now serve its shareholders in the best possible manner that is possible at our peers. And of course, you may be aware that the expectation of the law is that this company must be IPO ready in 3 years after incorporation. And definitely what we're seeing today, what we have done so far with me and my team and my colleagues in the company is that we can be IPO ready practically by the middle of next year. And this means that value will come to Nigerians, more value will come. Yes, value is already coming. This company will be in position to supply energy for the Nigerians today, and it will be able to do it for tomorrow, and of course, even to the wider global energy community.
Wow, that's beautiful. The company is projected to be the largest oil and gas company in Africa. What techniques would be deployed to achieve that?
Yes, first of all, today you have access to assets that can allow you have access to financing globally. In the past, it used to be a bit limited, but today now we have all the freedom to seek finance. And once you're able to access financing, your system and processes are world-class because you don't have an option to do this today because it is a requirement of the petroleum industry and also the Company and Allied Matters Act. Both of them require that you do this in the best practice, in the best possible manner that is others are doing. So therefore, obviously, there's a potential for us to do things very, very different and deliver the value that should be there. So clearly, this is a different situation, a different environment. And of course, I must also say this very clearly today that it is impossible to come to this position without a determined leadership of the political class. In this situation, it is impossible to come to this position without the courage of President Muhammad Buhari, which has defied all logic in the last 23 years before we are unable to get the Petroleum Industry Act in place. But today we have the courage to create a commercial national oil company. That's the dream of our partners and our country.
All right, you said it's a different company. Of course, Nigerians are waiting to see the difference. And while waiting for energy transition of the company, how soon will the shares of NNPC Limited be available to the public?
Yes, the law said that we can do it 3 years after incorporation. But what I'm saying is that for you to become able to sell your shares, you must be IPO ready. IPO ready means your system and processes must be in place. Your assets are clear. You are transparent, you are accountable, and you are those who want to buy shares from your company able to tell that you can actually make money from these assets. And this clearly will manifest easily by the middle of next year. Therefore, you can be IPO ready in terms of system, processes, access to resources, access to assets, and also the very fact that you can be transparent enough for those who are potentially going to buy interest in your company to see that it is possible to do this. And definitely, we're not going to wait for 3 years. It's already a private company, but we don't have this. We don't have individuals owning equity in this company. Rather, that it is the body of the 200 million Nigerians that own it. We can sell down some of this over time so that eventually can have complete private equity in this company. So it is very practical. It's realistic. And more than anything, this country has seen that this company can make profit. In 2021, we made over $287 billion of profit. This is nothing for a multi-trillion naira company like our own, multi-billion-dollar company that we are. Yes, we are. We think this is very low. We think that it is practical to come at par with our peers across who don't have access to the number of or the resources that we have access to. Now, we think that this company can deliver much more value than this. And it is very realistic, realizable, and we have a line of sight around this. And the Nigerians will see that this company is where if you want to buy one share of any company to be from NNPC. Thank you very much.
Many thanks, Mele Kyari. Of course, the rebirth of the NNPC hopefully will be a game changer. And of course, Nigerians want to see energy today and energy tomorrow. Many thanks once again for your time.
We'll provide energy for today, we'll provide energy for tomorrow.
Many thanks, Mele Kyari, for your time. It's still the network news on Nigerian Television Authority. Time for a break. Please stay. Many thanks for staying. The Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, says it is committed to ending the 5-month strike. President of the union, Professor Emmanuel Osudeke, is of the view that the union has always respected the feelings of students and other stakeholders, but does not enjoy similar gesture concerning its demands.
So we are not suspending this time. We want to end the strike. And you can only end the strike when the issue and contentions are met. Nigerian children to be sure that when they are in school, they have permanent no strike again. By the federal government, one, signing and implementing the agreement we have negotiated with NIMI Greeks. Two, the federal government challenged ASU When we said IPs was not welcome, they say, can you produce alternative? So if they adopt that system, and finally the past issue, the fertilization fund, areas of earn allowance, when government implement this, the union we can even call our member that same day to come here and we'll look at it and suspend the strike.
ASU also responded to the controversy surrounding the recently alleged new draft collective bargaining agreement.
For the avoidance of doubt, at no point did ASU say that the president, our commander-in-chief, was going to sign an agreement, any agreement between us and the government. We didn't say so. What we said was that our draft agreement was receiving attention by the president, which is correct because it's the president who directed the committee. I should also direct the committee to sign, not him signing as he alleged. Our claim about the draft agreement was predicated on the fact that it was the second document to be produced by a joint renegotiation committee of the federal government and ASU.
Public universities have been closed since the 14th of February this year as a result of the strike by lecturers. Now, looking at other issues, Nigeria has 6 to 9 months to ratify agreements reached at the 12th World Trade Organization's ministerial meeting held recently in Geneva, Switzerland. Speaking on her visit to Nigeria, the WTO Director General, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, says her home country stands the chance of benefiting from resolutions reached on the global economy.
The month of June saw a global solidarity by ministers of trade under the World Trade Organization in the city of Geneva, Switzerland. They deliberated, agreed, and made declarations on fisheries subsidies, overriding patterns to produce local vaccines, food security, trade waivers, e-commerce, and reforms in the WTO, among other issues bordering on global economy. In the month of July, the Director General is on her feet around the globe to ensure the decisions reached by the ministers is brought to good outcomes. And it begins with 2/3 of countries worldwide depositing their instrument of acceptance for the agreements to come into effect.
I don't want it to take 2 or 3 years, the normal time these types of agreements take to come into effect. I want to do it within the next 6 to 9 months. And I would like Nigeria to be among the very first to deposit this instrument. The relevant stakeholders have met to specifically consider the agreement on fisheries subsidies and deliberated on how Nigeria can implement the agreement, while also taking advantage of the opportunities presented by the newly created WTO Fish Fund.
The conclusion on agreement on fisheries subsidy is a fulfillment of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 14.6, which the WTO is glad to accomplish after 21 years of stalemate. In Abuja, Benny Adams, NTA News.
And still on the economy, the African Development Bank, AFDB, is sinking $460,000 into Nigeria's Securities and Exchange Commission to deepen modernization and boost investor confidence. Yesterday, Able reports that the market surveillance system projects seeks to position Nigeria firmly on the continental market space.
Yet another vital support for the development of the Nigerian economy by the African Development Bank, and this time through the Securities and Exchange Commission. The grant, valued at $460,000, is to finance technical assistance and capacity building for capital markets development. Lamin Barrow, Director General, African Development Bank Group, says the initiative is to integrate capital markets in Africa and give innovative financial instruments, which has become even more urgent with the operationalization of the African Continental Free Trade Area.
The African Development Bank's support for this project derives from the federal government of Nigeria's efforts to promote the development of a competitive, deep and liquid capital market supported by an enabling regulatory environment.
The automated market surveillance tool will enhance the Securities and Exchange Commission's role in investors' protection, as well as ensure a transparent, fair and orderly market and reduce systemic risk.
A market surveillance system is required to aid the regulator in detecting and addressing market abuse as quickly and efficiently as possible and to proactively prevent major infractions.
The grant from the Capital Markets Development Trust Fund is a multi-donor trust fund administered by African Development Bank with support by the Ministry of Finance of Luxembourg and Ministry of Foreign Trade and Cooperation of the Netherlands. In Abuja, Boss said able continues.
And for more on business, let's join Benny Adams. Benny.
Thank you, Henry, and welcome to Business. Start by telling you that in continuation of Nigeria's commitment to implementing a public register of beneficial owners of corporate entities operating in Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari has approved Nigeria's membership of the Beneficial Ownership Leadership Group with the Corporate Affairs Commission and the Nigerian Open Government Partnership Steering Committee. Minister of State, Budget and National Planning, Clem Agba, made this known at the 15th OGP National Steering Committee meeting in Abuja. He says membership of the group will allow the Corporate Affairs Commission to access technical assistance from participating countries.
This is something that started 2 years ago. We've been seeking and we've been following up. So it's the real big news, and this approval just came in last week. And I think that is worthy of commendation. It puts Nigeria in better light in the OGP community and also in the fight against corruption.
And of course, it will be a deterrent in halting the exit of illicit flows from our economy.
Nigeria is already enjoying benefits from the group, including receiving $400,000 funding support from OGP Multi-Donor Trust Fund managed by the World Bank. And moving on, NTA lauds the NNPC the Nigerian Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative, that is NTA, has welcomed with high expectation the transition of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation to an independent limited liability company. NTA, in a statement released in Abuja, said the transition is in line with the recommendations of NTA industry reports for the oil and gas sector covering 1999 to 2019, which has always advocated for a business-oriented NNPC that would deliver the country's energy needs and build a sustainable energy future. And looking at the markets, after a two-day rally on Nigeria's equities market, it recorded its first negative close on Tuesday as the central bank's monetary policy committee moved to curtail inflation by increasing monetary policy rate by 14%. The oil share index and market capitalization decreased from preceding trading days highs to 52,308.88 basis points. UBA, Access Holdings and AICO were the top three trades. That is Business News. Network News continues with Nyeri.
Many thanks, Benny. Looking at other stories now, an end to structural defects and building collapses are in sight, with revolutionary solid-based construction materials now available in the market. One company championing this revolution is Axion, which launches 5 of its products in Abuja. Joseph Otsen reports.
The Chief Executive Officer of Axion, Oke Eze, and the company's influencer, Obinna Iyegbo, popularly known as Obi Kubana, demonstrate solidity of a 9-inch block constructed with Axion products.
So we had our first approval from National Council of Works 2014. So that tells you that will be a lot of houses, a lot of roads being built with this, and it's still standing. 35 blocks for 1 bag of cement. Once you add the Axion polymer to this, to your mix, you'll be able to get 60 block or even more.
Okay, so right now we are also on the Zoe Kasakubana real estate. You can see it's a virgin estate. We are about to start. So we want to start from the foundation to the block molding, to the decking level, to the finishing, plastering, screening and everything with this Axion. So it also guarantees, shows you the quality of buildings we are churning out in this estate.
With the right mix of Axion liquid polymer, white toughcrete, sand, and conventional cement. The company gives assurance of a solid structure, devoid of cracks, wet walls, and less structural collapse.
Comprehensive strength after 7 days in this. Conventional cement will give you 8.6 megapascal or PSI. But this one now, after 7 days, you take your comprehensive test, you are getting 12.8 or 13 megapascal strength.
You don't want to cut your arm or your leg just because you want to build a house. So Axion is going to help in that process. It's going to also generate a lot of employment for people in the building industry. So I fully endorse it.
Nigeria has witnessed lots of building collapse, with experts blaming much of the disaster on the use of substandard products. Now that Axion is promising to sustain accessibility and affordability of its products, Nigeria stands to see less of these construction disasters. In Abuja, Joseph Utsen, NTA News.
Time to pause here in Abuja and let Adeola give us some more from Lagos. Adeola.
Thank you so much, Nyara, and welcome to Lagos. The Central Bank of Nigeria has increased the monetary policy rate by 100 basis points to 14% benchmark. Central Bank Governor Godwin Emefiele said the decision was reached by members of a committee to curtail inflation. Abolade Salami reports.
In 3 months, the Monetary Policy Committee of Central Bank of Nigeria has increased interest rates by 250 basis points. Members of the committee noted with concern the continued aggressive movement in inflation even after the rate hike at its last meeting, and expressed its unrelenting resolve to restore price stability while providing the necessary support to strengthen the fragile recovery.
The committee, however, expressed confidence in the bank's sustained intervention programs, noted that inflation is expected to abate as food supply improved and the fiscal authority sustained its efforts to tame the legacy structural challenges which put upward pressure on domestic price levels.
As regards the decision to tighten, loosen or hold rates, the MPC members were unanimous in their decision not to consider both loosening and retaining rates at existing level, with a view not to worsen the existing liquidity condition in the country and further dampen money market rates. While the Apex Bank increased interest rates, it however retained other parameters, as the asymmetric corridor remains at plus 100 and minus 700 basis points around the MPR, while cash reserve ratio CRR maintained 27% and liquidity ratio was also kept at 30%.
Committee resolved to increase the MPR by 100 basis points from 13% to 14%. Members were conscious of the fact that output growth remained fragile. However, not containing inflation now could erode the moderate gains achieved in improving consumer purchasing power and thus worsen poverty levels for the vulnerable populace.
To address the balance of policy objectives and development in the global and domestic environment, the committee resolved that the most national policy option will be to further strengthen its tightening stance in order to effectively curtail the unabated rising trend in inflation. In Lagos, Abolade Salami, NTA News.
Tributes and encomiums have continued to pour in following the demise of the former National Deputy Women Leader of the All Progressives Congress APC, Kemi Nelson. Michael Olaleye reports that condolence registers have been opened at both her residence and the party secretariat in Lagos.
Being the only female serving member of the Lagos State Governors Advisory Council speaks volume of Kemi Nelson's influence and dominance within the political space in Lagos. Her continued drive to increase the number of women in politics, even till death, will continue to resonate.
When Senator Oluremi Tinubu decided not to run for the ticket, at the GAC, it was a serious battle. She said that particular slot should not be given to any other sex other than the women.
Others say she is a go-getter, which well-calculated strategy helped in repositioning the APC in the southwest geopolitical zone a feat that laid the solid foundation for the national acceptance the party is currently enjoying.
We have young people in politics that they always run to her when they feel cheated.
She's a problem solver. She's somebody that would help you to achieve your aspiration in life.
From serving as the Commissioner for Women Affairs and Poverty Alleviation during the tenure of Bola Ahmed Tinubu from 1999 to 2003 to being the women leader of the party in Lagos, late Kemi Nelson no doubt has impacted lives.
She's an Amazon. She's greater than life. She did a lot of women emancipation. Some of us are mentees.
Beyond politics are commendations of a passionate mother who invested her time to the growth of individuals.
She's a messenger of God, and she has finished her assignment. That's why she was called home.
Late Kemi Nelson is an old horse in the political compendium of the country far back 1992 when she contested for the Lagos West senatorial seat on the platform of the National Republican Convention (NRC), but was defeated by Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu of the Social Democratic Party (SDP). In Lagos, Michael Olaleye, NTA News.
Hamashi, rest in peace. And it's on that note we conclude our contribution from Lagos, but do not forget to follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on our other social media handles.
The two chambers of the National Assembly suspended plenary Tuesday in honor of a deceased member of the House of Representatives, Jude Ise Idehe. House Speaker Femi Gbadagbe-Amila, while announcing the demise of the late lawmaker on the first day of plenary after the summer break, described him as a committed legislator who worked tirelessly for the benefit of his constituents and other Nigerians. Jude Ise Idehe, until his demise, represented Ego Oha Federal Constituency of Edo State. Aged 52, he died on the 1st of July 2022, leaving behind a wife and 3 children. In solidarity with the House of Representatives, the Senate also suspended its business of the day in honor of the late member. The right for inmates to vote in an election is agreeable in principle, but practicing it comes with a lot of issues to consider. INEC Chairman Professor Mahmood Yakubu made the observation while receiving the management of the Nigerian Correctional Service in Abuja. Mia Ogidi reports.
218 federal government custodial centers. The 4 walls of the custodial centers separate the inmates from voting on election day. A court in Benin ruled in favor of the inmates on their voting rights. Implementing this ruling informed this meeting.
The modalities for this process need to be worked out.
But this contradicts the 2022 Electoral Act.
Section 12, subsection 1 of the Electoral Act 2022 lists 5 qualifications for registration as a voter in Nigeria. And number 5, which is really critical to our discussion today, is that he or she must not be subject to any legal incapacity to vote under any law, rule, or regulation in force in Nigeria.
Even if this can be implemented in principle, it is a long walk.
Will inmates vote outside the prison or inside the prison? Will they transfer their registration to the correctional centers? Now, will political parties be allowed to campaign inside the correctional centers? Will observers and the media be allowed access to the correctional centers on election day? Will INEC officials be granted access to the correctional centers for voter education? So these are some of the issues that we need to carefully discuss and resolve before a decision is taken.
However, in Africa, Kenya and South Africa are classic examples of countries where inmates vote on elections. Until all issues are cleared, the inmates just have to be indoors on election day for now. Mia Ogiri, NTA News.
And away from electoral matters, Corps Marshal Federal Safety Corps Boboye Oyemi has warned officers and men of the Corps in charge of issuance of driver's license against imposing extra charge on applicants. The FRSC boss reiterated this at the capacity building workshop for sector heads of driver's license centers across the country. Oyemi Ajayi has details.
Driver's license is a major document and requirement needed for motorists to ply the Nigerian roads, not only limited to Nigerians alone, but foreigners who wish to drive on the roads. However, acquiring the essential document has been a tripartite effort between the Federal Safety Corps, Joint Tax Board, Directorate of Road Transport Services, VIO. Over time, many have complained about series of challenges they undergo before acquiring the document. Mistakes on names and date of birth, in addition to alleged accusations of extra charges by some officers of the Corps.
You must show more responsibility.
This, the Corps Marshal says, must come to an end, emphasizing quality service delivery, as any officer found culpable of corrupt practices will be severely dealt with.
Doubting must curtail doubting. Yeah, we don't balance now to go with stating the official rates of the driver's license. That's what the body is supposed to pay. There's no any extra time. No extra time to capture, no extra time to collect license. You must ensure all forms of corrupt practices. You must ensure that you are up to task irrespective of this. You must be very careful, because if you compromise and the license is still used in the wrong way, then you are signing the warrant of the person involved.
He emphasized that the amount for acquisition of driver's license remains the same. In Abuja, Oyemi Ajayi, NTA.
Let's now take a trip to Sokoto, where Asmao is standing by to feed us with more news. Asmao.
Good evening and welcome to Sokoto. Governor Aminu Waziri Tambol has charged state indigents sponsored to study in Malaysia to be of good behavior throughout the period of their studies. Tambol made the charge while addressing the first batch of the students at Government House Sokoto. Dalhat Abdullahi reports.
The study program is under the Work of Education partnership between the State Zakat and Endowment Commission and the Al-Bukhari International University in Malaysia, signed in 2020. The students were carefully selected from the orphans and the low-income earners across 23 local government areas of the state. The first batch of 39 whose travel documents were ready among the 63 successfully selected during the screening exercise in which 900 participated. Their journey to Malaysia was halted by COVID-19 in 2021, but were engaged in online studies with the university for 1 year.
We are all orphans and children from low-income families, and we will study with a sincere underground plan to help orphans and vulnerable children in our society and in the country at large.
Being the first of its kind, and in the whole world, it is only Sokoto State that have benefited from this in the country.
Vice Chancellor Al-Bukhari International University Malaysia, who spoke via Skype, said currently the university has 743 similar students drawn from 56 countries, adding that with the contingents from Sokoto State, the figures will rise. Governor Aminu Waziri Tambol asked the students to be good ambassadors not only to their families, but Sokoto State and Nigeria as a whole.
So please, tell us, go there and conquer. You have been well prepared. Our prayers are with you.
The students were seen off by their relatives and officials of the Sokoto State Zakat and Endowment Commission at the Sultan Abubakar III International Airport, Sokoto, en route Abuja for their final takeoff to Malaysia. In Sokoto, Dalhat Abdullahi, NTA News.
Zamfara State Governor Bello Muhammad has flagged up the distribution of fertilizer and some other farming inputs to more than 14,000 farmers free of charge in the state. The intervention is in furtherance of the state government's commitment to revamp agriculture, especially in the armed banditry ravaged communities. Jamilu Ibrahim has more.
Apart from insecurity,
Price of fertilizers in the market has been the major concern of most farmers in Zamfara State. As the 2022 rainy season progresses, the distribution of fertilizers and other farming inputs to peasant farmers from across the 14 local government areas of Zamfara State, free of charge by the State Office of the Padama Project, is therefore not only timely but a great boost to the agricultural production this year. Zamfara State Governor Bello Muhammad, represented by his Deputy Senator Hassan Muhammad Nasiha, who flagged up the distribution of the farming inputs in Gusau, said the gesture is part of the government's effort to revamp farming activities with the return of relative fees across the state. He assured that similar gesture will be extended to more farmers in the state soonest.
I also want to again congratulate the beneficiaries and pray for them to make use of this item be distributed.
Zamfara State Coordinator of the Padama Project, Ismail Abubakar Rabi, expressed optimism that the intervention will significantly improve agricultural production in the state this year.
Each farmer will be supported with improved seed, 2 bags of NPK fertilizer, 1 bag of urea, 2 herbicide, and 1 liter of insecticide, and 2 sachets of seed chemicals.
Some of the beneficiaries who spoke expressed the delight over what they described as timely intervention and pledged to make judicious utilization of the farming inputs. The farming inputs include more than 1,000 bags of fertilizers, insecticides and herbicides, as well as some grinding machines, among other things. In Gusau, Jamilu Ibrahim, NTA News.
And that is our package from Sokoto. We will pause for some messages and the network news continues with Ian Ray in Abuja afterwards.
Let's now have a bit of sports.
The federal government has reassured on engaging citizens more in wealth creation opportunities after launching the National Lottery Nigeria, also known as the National Games in Abuja. Games format aims at redistributing wealth and creating good causes around sports, education, health care, and infrastructure development.
It's credits of the National Lottery Regulatory Commission that through hard work and dogged determination, they have achieved this remarkable feat.
And also to help government, because government cannot do it alone. So hence why this is a legacy project. It's the first in Nigeria, and I think we all need to embrace it.
6 lucky numbers out of the 49 jackpots will be drawn on a daily